Hi everybody, I'm going to do a quick video on WordPress 2.6 versus 2.7, just some of the changes that have happened, which are awesome, I think. And then also one little funny thing in Thesis, which is not a big deal, but I just thought people should know about it. So first of all, I'm just going to go over 2.6 if people aren't familiar with it. Essentially the navigation happens this way, so if you want to go into something like manage, for example, managing pages, links, categories, tags, so forth. So the way that it's designed is essentially there's one navigation menu up here, and then there's a sub navigation right here. Okay, so that's kind of how you get around the older version. The newer version, this is 2.7, and I'm actually on WordPress.org, so both of these are hosted. Okay, WordPress.com already has this right here. Okay, so if you have a free WordPress blog, you're probably already seeing this anyhow. So the neat thing about this is that in the dashboard, which is what you come into in the home screen, what you can do is basically move stuff around, kind of like in your Facebook page. If you guys have Facebook pages and stuff like that, you can just kind of move stuff around these blocks just to see, what your preference is, which is kind of neat. So you can, everybody has their own preferences in terms of how they like to work. Okay, this one cool thing in here, haven't really gotten into it, but basically this is a way. It's essentially a lightweight section to put posts in if you really don't want to do a lot of editing and HTML and bolding and all that stuff. There's a much more. Let's see, pages, posts right here. This is what you get into if you want to do a little bit more editing. Let's see, so like I mentioned in the previous video, what you have is essentially like Word, using a Word document, adding an image, video, audio, other media. You can also do the HTML road, okay? But essentially this quick press thing allows you just to go in here, write something really quick, boom, publish it, add some tags, and that's it. Okay, so I'm just going to move this down here. The other thing is that the other major change, so you can kind of move stuff around, which is kind of cool. By the way, the navigation obviously is down here, so you're going to open up these boxes, close them. Okay, so everything that you need is right here, and you can just close this, so it's all right here. Okay, if you go in between these little bars right here, like that, you can open it back up. Okay. The other big thing that has changed in WordPress 2.7 is the plugins. So the one thing that you've had to do in the past is, with the older version, you go in here, you find your plugin, you have to download it, stick it on your hard drive, and then go into the cPanel of your host and upload it. And it's not that complicated, but you have to do like 3 or 4 steps in order to get in there. And then you have to go in here and activate it and all that stuff. Okay, so with the new 2.7, the thing that they did, which is really neat, is that you can go in here and literally just activate it directly in here. Okay, so I'm just going to go in here and type in audio, for example. Okay, so you go in here, you get all these plugins. You do have the ability to download the plugin still and then put it on your hard drive and upload it into your cPanel if you want to do that. Otherwise, you could just go in here and say install. A window pops up. It's going to say install now. It has this little warning. Plugin has not been tested. Install now. Okay, can you do that? Let's see. There is an area in here which shows which ones have been tested, which ones haven't, but we don't have time to get into that right now. So that's really cool. Basically, just install them right here. And for people who are new to WordPress, again, plugins are essentially basically pieces of software, little tools, utilities, audio players, comments. Let's see, sociable. This is one, like, if you want somebody to send posts to another person, it's a way for them to go in and say, okay, I want to send this to my Facebook friends or my LinkedIn or my email or my Twitter, that type of thing. It's really cool. It's basically like a social bookmarking, sharing utility. So again, about 3,500 different plugins within WordPress. It's awesome. The other piece in WordPress, which is relatively new, is, again, we have the settings down here, blah, blah, blah. Press this. Oh, actually, I put it up here. What do you know? So press this. Basically, it's this little thing. You drag it up in your toolbar right here, okay? And you say, you come to another website. You have to happen to be surfing around the web. And I love the white stripes. They're awesome. So you see this thing. You're like, oh, man, this is so cool. I really like this. And then you can just, like, say, press this, okay? What it does is it basically automatically brings up WordPress. You say publish, and then you're done, okay? And then you can go directly to your blog, and it's right in your blog. So it's going to post it directly to it. You don't have to worry about anything else. I'm just going to shut that off. So this is my music website that I've been kind of playing around with the Thesis, the new WordPress, and all that stuff, just to familiarize myself and get people, you know, educate other people with this video, even though I'm just learning myself. So we have this. This is Thesis. It's really, I basically have it like totally simplified for the purposes of an educational video I'm working on. But the other thing is, so we did press this. Okay, now so let's get into the Thesis thing, okay? Because the one thing that I noticed with Thesis, because I was like, okay, how's this thing going to work in 2.7? I was a little concerned about it. Now Thesis, basically everything's pretty much the same in 2.7. Okay, so I'm on 2.6. That's why it says WordPress 2.7 is available. So it's really, you have all the same functionality that you have with Thesis, no problem at all. The only thing that I noticed is that the layout column area is a little confusing. You just have to kind of get used to what you're looking at. In here, it's really clear. I'm doing two column layout, and then here's the options. You know, left, right, right, left, 3 columns, bump, left, right. You know, sidebar, sidebar, all that stuff. Okay. So what is going on with 2.7 is this, which is a little confusing, but I got used to it. So we have the fonts and all this stuff. It's totally fine. Now here is where you get to the layout thing. So what I learned is that there are 2 ways to look at this. I mean, there are basically 2 things. You're looking at the whole 3-column layout section right here, okay? The widths of the sidebars, and you know what order you want, like the content, sidebar 1, sidebar 2. Again, this is the whole 3-column layout area, okay? Or you can do, you know, sidebar, short sidebar, big, huge content thing in the middle, sidebar on the right, okay? So you have all that stuff. Then you have these 2-column layout, which is what we have right here. Again, 1 column here, another column here. That's what I have. I just have the 2 columns, all right? So, you know, you have your content, you pick all that stuff down here. Your, the width of the columns again, okay? And then, but what I realized is that up at the top, what you're doing is you're picking 2 columns, 3 columns, or 1 column. So you start here right under layouts, columns, and widths. You start here first. Go 2 columns. Pick 2 columns. You're great. You say, okay, great, 2 columns. Then you do all your work down here and figure it out. Okay, 1 column, got this stuff, and so forth. So that's really, really quick. I like 2.7. It's awesome. I think there's a lot of really cool stuff in it. And I was a little nervous about the Thesis thing, so I'm glad that that's working out. And I just wanted to get this video out there just for people to check it out. Okay? So let me know if you have any questions, and we'll talk soon. And again, I am working on a free, basically like a mini course on setting up a blog, from, you know, the hosting, setting up the domain, installing WordPress, doing Thesis, getting things all set up, importing some images, and so forth. So just, you know, like literally the tactical stuff. And thanks a lot, and we'll talk soon. Bye.